Hey guys, Lyra here. So today we are going to be talking about how to let go of a grudge. I'm going to give you 2 techniques that you can use that will help you to forgive someone else or perhaps yourself. So the first technique, and I feel like it's the most effective technique, is called letting go. That is all it's called. And it's from the book I read called Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender. Now you can apply this technique to basically any negative emotion you have, not just holding a grudge. It is so effective. It's so simple too, unbelievably simple, but it's not easy. So this technique, all you do is, when you feel a negative emotion arise throughout the day, usually your first reaction is to either escape it or suppress it. Usually you just don't allow it to be there, which is what letting go is all about. So when you do feel a negative emotion arising, when you're thinking about this person that you have a grudge against, just let the feeling be there. Be there with the feeling and allow it to run its course through your body without judging it or trying to change it. Just realize that negative emotions are just energy. It is just energy in your body, not good or bad. It's just part of the human experience. So when you're doing this, really pay attention to the physical sensations of your body. Don't try labeling it or conceptualizing it with your mind. Just say, I feel a constriction in my chest. I feel tightness in my muscles. I feel tense. You will feel uncomfortable. And I've heard other people say that it can be very painful to actually allow these emotions to run through your body, because especially if you've been suppressing them for so long, it's a very uncomfortable, unfamiliar feeling to simply just surrender to whatever emotion that you're feeling. And when you do this, the emotion will run out basically, and you'll notice that it will shift and you will feel a lighter sensation. And that is a cue that you have surrendered that emotion. Now, it may come up again. They can be recurring, and you just simply have to keep repeating the process. And I found that I feel so much better utilizing this method. It's just worked wonders for me. I have found that when I do it, I feel sort of jolts of energy through my body. My muscles will literally jolt. And when I feel this sensation coming on strong, it's almost like I'm having a seizure. I kind of like just shake almost. It probably wouldn't be very attractive if you were watching me, but I can literally just feel that energy just rushing through my body. And I know that this emotion is running its course. A lot of the emotions that I'm dealing with are very deep-seated, unaddressed emotions that I have been suppressing and resisting for my entire life. It's definitely a process. So just be patient with this technique and realize that it's not, if you surrender once, it's not going to go away forever. That it is a process, but it will get better and better the more and more that you surrender and just let go. Negative emotions, although they can cause a lot of problems and be obstacles, they're just blocks to your natural state of peace. So you need to just let them come up, express themselves, acknowledge them, and they will go away. And then there won't be any blockages between you and peace and healing and forgiving someone. One more technique that I'm going to share with you is a process called The Work by Byron. I learned about this process through another YouTuber named Teal Swan. I really like her. I follow her quite a bit. She's kind of like a psychic YouTuber. She goes into a lot of interesting deep concepts about a spiritual realm and the invisible forces and things like that. So if you're interested in that, you can check her out. She's really, really cool. And so yeah, this process, it's also a book, and basically it's sort of like a journaling process. So letting go allows you to surrender to these negative emotions so they eventually run their course. and run out. And this Katie Byron process will help you to rewire the thoughts that are reinforcing your emotions. So the thoughts that are causing you to hold this grudge against somebody, and rewire them so that you can start to replace them with healing, forgiving, positive thoughts that are gonna benefit you. Realize that when you hold a grudge against somebody, that person doesn't know necessarily how much pain that you're holding in regards to them. They don't know. You're the one who's hurt the most by not forgiving someone, and it took me a really long time to realize that, but once you do, it is very freeing, because then you can start the process of forgiveness. So first, you identify the thought that is causing the feeling. So for instance, say somebody cheated on you and you just cannot get over it. So you will probably have thoughts in your head like, that douchebag, how could he do this to me? Or that biatch, how could she, did she ever love me? Or some kind of negative thought like that. Okay, so write it down in the journal, and then you would first ask a question. Ask, is it true? Is your thought, your assumption true? There's a question it, right? Don't just accept it as truth. And then the next question you would ask is it really true? So it's really getting you to really delve deep and to really ask yourself from an objective stance, is this thought actually true? Right? The next question that you need to ask is, how do you treat yourself or the other person when you believe that thought? So basically, how is this thought affecting your life? And if it's a negative thought, how is this thought affecting your life in a negative way? How much energy are you wasting basically on holding these negative thoughts within you? And how is it affecting your relationship with this person if they're still in your life? It'll really give you a really clear perspective about how much this thought is actually negatively influencing your life. And then the last question you ask is, how would your life be different without the thought? Who would you be without that thought? Would you be a much happier person? And then you can ask, what do you prefer, life with or without that thought, right? And it will really kind of distance yourself from that thought, because realize thoughts are transient. They're not really who you are. Again, they're just like emotions. They just kind of run through you, but they're not the essence of you. They're not your true self. Once you can step back from that and distance yourself from that thought, that really puts the power in your hands. And the last thing that you do is it's called the turnaround. Find one or more turnarounds of this thought. Basically find a genuine example of the exact opposite of your thought. So for instance, let's say that, let's go back to the cheating example, that douchebag. He obviously didn't love me. Well, again, that's a very complicated negative thought. But if that person was with you, obviously a part of him did love you, and you know that is not necessarily true. And are they really a douchebag? I'm sure that you could find one or two examples where they expressed genuine love to you, genuine caring towards you, genuine compassion. Otherwise, why would you have been with them, right? You saw something in them. So remember what you saw in them. Remember that people are not black and white. They are gray. They have good and bad in them, just like you, just like me. So remember that everybody's just human, and it will help you to forgive as well. So I hope that this helps you not only with forgiving, but with any negative emotion, especially the letting go technique. Anything, whenever you're mad, sad, whenever you're even slightly irritated, if you kind of have a moment to just take a deep breath and just let the emotion run through you, it will go away. It just goes away. And usually for me, it happens in maybe a minute or two and it's gone. And yeah, I hope that this helped you guys, and I will see you next week. All right, bye. How to be happy and single. Is it possible? It is totally possible. So I'm going to give you 5 main points about how you can become happy